Hi guys, welcome to the 3 Range Bros studio and welcome to another video. I'm Mark, the Red Cornish Ranger, and today's video is simple but fun. We are taking my original character, the Red Cornish Ranger, and swapping his weapon arsenal. You see, the Red Cornish Ranger has the ability to wield all 5 of the original power weapons from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. In this video, myself and Tai have created our own separate lists of weapons from across the Power Ranger universe and replaced the 5 power weapons. And we are going to present them to each other and to you guys watching. The only rule here is we have to stick to the colors that match the power weapons. So that being red, blue, black, yellow, and pink. So with that being said, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on another 3 Range Bros studio video. Of course, like and comment on the video, and let's get started.
So I chose now I'm going to probably butcher this, the Ankylo hammer from Cosmic Fury.
Okay, so you're swapping a sword for a hammer. That's interesting.
Yeah, I mean I like the look of it, to be honest, and like the idea of a hammer. Like I say, I mean, majority of the time, the Red Ranger is traditionally a sword, aside from a few occasions. But yeah, I think the hammer is quite a nice, more devastating weapon as well.
I also think when it comes to the hammer, it makes a nice kind of like equal balance because we're also getting rid of the power axe as well. So you're swapping away, because axe and hammers are very similar in some some formats, some games and stuff. You know, they can quite often be put in the same group. So cancelling out the axe as well, you kind of replace it with the hammer. So yeah, I like that. I wasn't thinking you'd go with the anklet hammer. Okay.
Well, you saying that when you consider both, well, definitely the Cosmic Fury axe and the original Mighty Morphin axe, they're more guitar style, which is also called it can be an axe as well, isn't it?
Yes, that's very true.
I don't know where I was going with that.
Okay, so for mine, I went with the Spiral Saber, which originally belonged to the In-Space Red Ranger. So you are correct, the whole sword issue, there's a lot of Red Rangers who have swords. There's a few Red Rangers who don't need, Overdrive, Jungle Fury. There's a couple of Red Rangers who don't, but I just feel like... Yeah, SPD. I just feel like the Spiral Saber is such a cool sword. It's the best weapon in space. It's one of the most unique sword-like weapons. That's even if you can call it a sword, because it's in the name. It's a spiral. It's not really a sword.
Yeah, it's not a straightforward bladed weapon, as it were.
Yeah, and also when it comes to the Spiral Saber, another reason why I picked it is because Mark obviously has the power weapons. The power weapons are linked to Zordon, and obviously the Spiral Saber is the weapon that breaks Zordon's tube. So I went down a bit more of a story connection there as well.
The sadistic route.
Yeah, it's a bit sadistic, but it's fine. Mark's whole storyline's a bit dark sometimes, so it's all good.
Oh yeah. Well, we killed these characters off, his team off, before we even met them.
That's very true. But yeah, I just feel like the Spiral Saber will be a nice addition. It's a great sword, it's a great weapon, and I think imagining Mark wield it, it's just a fun image.
All right, I got on my list next the Black Rangers. So I went a little different, and we had that discussion about what Ranger colours. I wanted to go for the Magna Sword, as in the Magna Defender's blaster / sword, because I really like that one. That's my favourite weapon.
So, just for anyone out there, we discussed the rules that when it comes to certain Rangers kind of been, the fandom can be decisive on what's what. I told Mark, as long as the official Power Ranger wiki states it, then it counts, and the Magna Defender is actually stated as a Black Ranger, hence why it is counted. Yeah, honestly, great choice. I think, especially with the Anchor Hammer. Anchor Hammer is very heavy. Big swing weapon. This is a sword, but also, like you said, it turns into a blaster, which again kind of mirrors the Power Axe. The Power Axe also has a blaster mode. So I like that you did that.
It is the reason I like the Power Axe as well, because it does, like say, doubles as a blaster, and it's the reason I like the Magna Defenders one. A lot of the a lot of the weapons that I like do have a dual purpose. I like the ideas of ones that have a double purpose with them. I mean, you've got those two. Obviously, you've got the Silver Space Rangers is dual purpose as well. I'm trying to think of a few others. I suppose you could say technically the SPD Red is a dual purpose, but it goes from a twin blaster to a main blaster, doesn't it?
Yeah. So for the swapping of the Power Axe, I went with the Drive Slammer, which belongs to the Black Operation Overdrive Ranger. It's a heavy hitting weapon. I know Overdrive is very hated, but honestly, I really do like the designs of their main weapons, and I've always just liked the look of the Drive Slammer. The fact that it is, semi-car themed as well, just it looks very good, and also, it's a heavy hitting weapon. I gave Mark the Spiral Saber, which is, a quick close-up weapon, so I wanted to kind of give him a heavy hitting one, which is quite funny because you went with a heavy hitting Red Ranger weapon and then a sword that turns into a blaster for the Black Ranger. I went the opposite direction. I swapped them round. I went with the quick Red Ranger, but the heavy hitting Black Ranger weapon.
I wonder what we're going to do next.
Oh Jesus! But yeah, I think the Drive Slammer would make a good addition, because now in my list of weapons, he's got a sword, and now he's also got a big nice hammer to take down bigger monsters or bigger group of monsters, because we do see Operation Overdrive Black hit the ground and make shockwaves, so it's good for crowd control.
All right. Well, I kind of stuck with the blade with her and decided to go the Golden Eagle sword from Wild Force. So even though it's called the Golden Eagle sword, it's a Yellow Ranger's weapon, which I did find a bit weird, but that's his actual name. I checked up on Ranger Wiki.
That's actually one of my favorite swords, is the Eagle sword, because I love Wild Force. It's my favorite season, so that is definitely up there for me when it comes to swords. And at least Mark's now got a sword in your list. I know he's got the Magna Defender sword that turned to a blaster, but he's also got a straight sword.
Straightforward, yeah.
Yeah, a straight blade. Are we going to include the feathered blades that she throws in that as well? Because I know that's a part of the Eagle Rangers because she can fly, but
is that more part of her suit rather than her weapon?
That's what I'm questioning. Is that part of her suit, or would that be attached to the sword? I don't know. I don't know if Mark would have the ability to use the throwable part.
I would say no, but that could become a possible character, maybe a Wild Force Cornish Ranger version.
Well, let's also leave it to the people watching. Let's leave it for the comments down below. Do you think, if Mark's able to wield the Eagle sword from Wild Force, does he also have the ability to summon the feathered throwable blades? We'll let the comments also help us decide there.
Has he been drinking his Red Bull? Has he been drinking his Red Bull?
It's the dad joke. It's the dad joke. It's the dad joke of the day. So for yellow, I swapped the power daggers with the zip charger from RPM, the Yellow Rangers zip charger, which I don't actually know what to name it as a precise weapon. It's a gauntlet that she slots her little car into, and it then flies around once she launches it, and it's in
Yeah,
the
it was a
name of
very
zip.
weird one, wasn't it?
But that's why I like it. It's unique. It's different. Like, not many rangers have really unique, specific weapons that are odd and out there. And I find the zip charger definitely out there. And I try to mix and match. You know, the power weapons are very diverse, and I wanted to do the same. So I've given him a sword, a really big hammer that he can, do heavy hits, and then the zip charger is good for crowd control, getting out of tight spots, but also long range attacks. Maybe someone's in trouble and Mark can't get to the person in trouble, or maybe his teammates need a quick hand, or just maybe he needs to do a back shot. Maybe hit someone from behind. The zip charger comes in handy for those sort of scenarios.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm probably going to get a few hates for this one because I chose a Mega Force weapon, the Sharp Bowgun. So obviously that gives him range as well now, and it is a bow weapon as it were, but it's more of a crossbow style rather than a string shot style, or whatever the bow ones are called.
That's an interesting choice. I didn't actually think. I don't think you'd get a lot of slack for mentioning a Megaforce weapon, because they do have unique weapons in the sense. I think that's like, I use Operation Overdrive, and yes, okay, the seasons may not be good, but they do, like, the worst seasons do actually have decent arsenals. And so
I think Noah was the second favorite character in that season.
yeah, I'm just gonna call it a crossbow because it's just easier to call it that.
Yeah.
So again, you're using a weapon that has the ability to slot cards into. I think he'd have the specific card for the crossbow.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Yeah.
Because all the functions of the power weapons Mark has, he can combine them into the power cannon. The axe can turn into the cannon, its gun mode, and things like this. He has all functions of the 5 main weapons. So I think it's only fair that we do give the other functions to these alternative weapon playlists. And when it comes to the crossbow, you are able to slot a card into it,
I was going to say, and it would provide a base, as it were, because like with the main power weapons, obviously the base is the power axe, isn't it?
Yeah.
This would create a base for the other weapons to sort of like line up on.
That's also very true. I like the fact that you've also kind of gone down the same route I have, where we're trying to give Mark, with these alternative weapon lists, we're trying to give Mark a bit of variety, kind of still fill in the shoes of the power weapons, because there's close range, there's close but quick, there's long range, there's a weapon that can do both, and then you've got range with reach, but there's also close range, and we're still kind of falling into the same categories, so that goes into my option. Swapping the power lance, I chose the turbo hand blasters from Power Ranger Turbo. Really goofy dual cannons, sure, they do look really odd, but I wanted to give Mark a long range weapon that isn't a sidearm. And I feel like Turbo again is one of those seasons that isn't love. Why have we picked the worst seasons and picked good weapons?
And even more so, Justin gets even more of a bad rep out of the whole lot.
Yeah,
I mean, everyone loves all the other characters, even TJ in that. Okay, they respect him more for In Space than they do Turbo, but yeah, out of the whole lot, he's the one that gets the most grief out of it. It's also why I try to keep. Yeah, I can't speak. It's also why I keep trying to get Blake Foster to come down to Cornwall.
I just find it funny how we came up with the idea of, hey, let's give Mark an alternative playlist, and we've ended up giving him weapons from the worst seasons. It's great we've both done it as well.
Well, so far I haven't given anyone from Samurai. I don't know about you.
We'll get to that. So yeah, with the turbo hand blasters, I think it's just a fun time. I think they do look a bit goofy, to be fair, but he now has dual hand blasters, so he can shoot two bad guys at once. Again, crowd control. Mark's been in wars. He's been fighting for the multiverse. He travels the multiverse. God knows what he's gonna run into. So these weapons are really good, and also bigger bad guys, just pull the trigger on both.
Right, and last but not least, pink. So I went for a more, shall we say, smaller one. The Tricera drill from the Dino Charge.
Okay, please give me your thought pattern on that one.
So this one would provide more of a in-close sort of combat for it. And yeah, it'd be a much more close range one, much more shorter attack, much more quicker attacks as well.
Okay, so here's the really funny thing. I really wanted to include Dino Charge, but I could not make up my mind on which one. And I tossed and I turned and I argued with myself. I was like, right, no, that's it. I give up. I'm gonna pick something else.
Yeah.
Hence why I picked my pink option. And my yellow
they are
option.
very basic, sort of like really the Dino Charge ones. But I suppose when your main morpher and sidearm is a blaster, you don't really need anything else.
Yeah, that's very true. But yeah, that's a very interesting. That's a very interesting choice. But again, I now I understand your concept. It's close range. What if there's a bad guy who can move fast and get up close and personal, or it's like big heavy hitter and get close and personal, or
you could literally jab. You could.
Yeah, or again, what if Mark's stuck in, and he's surrounded completely and he doesn't have a chance to swing a big weapon or anything? And also it's a drill, so, you can also use it for more conventional ideas like, getting out of tight jams. What if he's trapped in a cave or something? There's that weapon also comes with alternative usages.
What if he hasn't been to the toilet in about 5 dimensions?
So talking about samurai, I swapped the bow with the sky fan from Power Rangers Samurai.
Mine was interesting. What's your logic?
Mostly because Mark doesn't have much elemental abilities with the power weapons, and a lot of the time Rangers either have animalistic abilities or elemental abilities with their whether it's like their main weapon, their sidearms, their Zords, or some case. And Mark doesn't have any of that. He doesn't have the ability to summon a tsunami or set his sword on fire or anything. So I wanted to give him at least something that created just an element of some kind. And I also know you're a fan of Avatar, The Last Airbender, so I wanted to rope that in. And also, again, crowd control. It's not used a lot in Samurai, but she is able to, when she swings the fan, create gusts of wind. You can wipe out an army with that if it's used well. And, once again, kind of similar scenarios. What if there's a bad guy who's always got a big gun or, multiple projectiles flying at Mark or something? Just swing the fan. You don't have to worry about shielding yourself. Just swing that and you can blow all the projectiles away. And there we have it, replacing all 5 power weapons in the Red Cornish Rangers arsenal with other weapons belonging to different Power Rangers. If you wish to see, or should I say listen to, the Red Cornish Rangers storyline, then make sure you click on the link tree down below. There you'll find more of our individual type of content from each one of the 3 Ranger Bros and the partners to the 3 Ranger Bros. Our podcasts, our TikToks, and some of the YouTube channels that fall under our studio. That being said, make sure that you hit the notification bell so you don't miss another video, and subscribe whilst you're here. Also, in the comments down below, we'd love to hear your playlist that you would give Mark the Red Cornish Ranger if you had to replace the power weapons yourselves. And with that, I am Tai Tiger, your host. That was Mark the Red Cornish Ranger. Our 3rd member is, of course, Cosplay Dude 637. We're the 3 Ranger Bros Studios, and we shall see you guys in the next video.